Hello everyone, welcome to my first YouTube video. Oh my gosh, that's so crazy to say. If you are here from my Instagram, thank you so much. This was a part of a free pattern that I'm doing for 16,000 followers as a thank you. That's number is just absolutely mind-blowing to me, but yeah, thank you guys so much. I thought this would be the perfect occasion to film my first YouTube video. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I will put it up here somewhere. If you end up watching this video and you don't want to keep rewatching it over and over again, I will also have a free pattern up on my Instagram. So first off, for materials, you're gonna need a yarn needle, a pair of scissors, a stitch marker, a crochet hook. Of course, I am using a 4.5 millimeter. This is what I use for all of my plushies. This is what I recommend you use. You will also need a pair of safety eyes with the backs. I'm using 10 millimeter, and that's what I recommend you use as well. And then of course you will need a regular sized Easter egg. I think I got this at Hobby Lobby, but you can get these at Walmart, at Michael's for pretty cheap. And then of course you'll also need stuffing. And then for yarn, I am using a Premier Parfait Chunky. I believe this is a size 6, and it's the color Sunshine. This is the yarn that I like to use for basically all of my plushies, and I think that it works best with this plushie as well, so at least something similar to this I recommend you use. If you use yarn that's bigger, like Bernat Blanket, then of course it's going to turn out a little bigger. So since I'm making the chick today, I will be using this yellow, and then I also have some orange over here. This is also Parfait Chunky. If you're making the duck version, then you might use like a white and a yellow. Or also on my Instagram, I have a free mod for a mallard duck, so then you would use green, white, brown, and then probably a yellow or orange. But yeah, I just think this is the most adorable thing ever. He just fits perfectly in his little egg. Oh my goodness. He is so cute, and I think this will be perfect for little Easter egg hunts. Or honestly, if you don't want to use it for Easter, it could also be the perfect little mini, or you could even add like a keychain on top. There's really so many options that you could do with this pattern, so I hope you love it as much as I do. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. So the very first thing, you're gonna take your main body color, and we're gonna do 6 single crochet and a magic ring. If you don't know how to use the magic ring, you can also do the chain 2 method, where you chain 2 and then you put the same amount of single crochets in the first chain. But I'm just gonna go ahead and do a magic ring, and we're gonna do 8 single crochet in the magic ring. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So now you're just gonna gently pull this tail here, and we're gonna pull our magic ring together. You might have to work with it a little bit. Okay, so now I'm gonna take my stitch marker, and I like to place mine in the back of the last stitch of the round. Some people like to do it in the first stitch. That's completely up to you. I just like to do it in the back. So now we're gonna do an increase in each stitch around for a total of 16 stitches. If you don't know what an increase means, it's essentially just doing 2 single crochet in every stitch. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, here's 14, and 16. And again, placing my stitch marker in the last stitch of the round. So for round 3, we're just gonna keep doing 16 single crochet from now on. So we're gonna do 3 rounds of 16. So for rounds 3, 4, and 5 are all going to be a single crochet a round. Okay, so after you have crocheted rounds 3, 4, and 5, we're gonna move on to making the wings. So for this round, you're gonna be working into the front loops only to make the wings, and then in the row after that, we're gonna be crocheting in the back loop only behind the wings. So we're gonna start by crocheting 4 single crochet. It's 2, 3, and 4. So for the wings, we're going to be doing 3 half double crochet in the front loop only of this stitch. And if you've never done this before, I recommend adding another stitch marker in the back loop of this stitch, just because next round we'll be working into the back loop and they can be kind of hard to find. So if you want to go ahead and do that, I would place a stitch marker there now. But we're just going to do 3 half double crochet in just the front loop, all in the same stitch. There's 2 and 3. So now we're going to crochet 6 single crochet. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we're just going to repeat the same process for the other wing. We're going to do 3 half double crochet in the front loop only. And now we will crochet 4, single crochet 4. And we're gonna go ahead and place the eyes. And so I'm taking my 10mm safety eyes here. You're gonna count between rows 4 and 5. So 1, 2, 3, there's 4, and there's 5. And you're gonna be placing your eyes in between this row. This is also opposite the stitch marker. So on the other side, right in between these wings, you're gonna be placing these. So there's 1. And then I'm going to count over maybe 3 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, and place the other one. I feel like these could even be shifted over 1. So you're just going to have to work with this and make sure that they're evenly in between the wings. So I think mine ended up being about 2 stitches apart, or 2 stitches in between the eyes. As you can see, they're like perfectly centered in between the wings. So I'm gonna go ahead and place the backs on. So for the next row, like I said, we're gonna be working in the back loop only of this stitch here. So if you have that stitch marker, now is the time to use it. So we're gonna start by single crocheting 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're gonna take this little wing here and we're gonna just kind of push him to the front against the body here, and we're gonna be finding that back loop. So as you can see, there's the back loop right there from the round before, and we're gonna be single crocheting into that. Just do 1 single crochet. Now we're gonna single crochet 6. Skipping all those half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we're going to repeat the same thing again, and we're going to go into the back loop from the round before and just do a single crochet. Perfect. And now we're going to single crochet 4 to end the round. For round 8, we're just going to be single crocheting around. Okay, for the next row, we're going to be crocheting in our little feet here, and we're going to be color crocheting. So you're going to grab your orange here, and I'm just going to get that ready. Oh. And I'm going to single crochet 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm not going to complete that last single crochet, and I'm just going to leave it to where there are 2 loops on your hook. Another thing to note here is that your yarn and your tension may be different from mine, so the amount of single crochet that you need to start off with may be different. So I would just look here. You'll see that the next little foot will go here, and then you should have 2 stitches in between the eyes there, and then this is where the other bobble stitch will go. So you want to just look at it and make sure that your feet are going to be centered, and if not, then you may need to adjust and go up or down single crochets. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to cut that yarn, leaving a little tail about that long. And I'm going to grab our other color here. I'm going to go ahead, I like to wrap it around my hands, and then you're just going to take your hook and pull it through those 2 loops. And then on the back side, I'm going to tie the 2 little tails together to secure. And now we are ready to crochet his little foot. So to do this, I'm just going to do a bobble stitch, and if you don't know how to do a bobble stitch, you're going to yarn over and insert your hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over again, go through that stitch, pull up a loop, go through 2, yarn over, go through the stitch, pull through 2, and we're going to do this one more time so that we have a total of 5 stitches left on the hook. So as you can see, there's 5 little loops here. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and cut my yarn again. I'm just going to pull the yellow back through all 5 of those loops and tie the 2 little tails together on the back. Now in the yellow, we're just going to single crochet 2. And on that second stitch, make sure that you leave 2 loops on your hook. And cut the yarn again. Take your orange, pull it through, tie the tails. And I like to do 3 knots just to be safe. Now we're going to make our second bobble stitch. And again, you should have 5 loops on your hook. And don't pull through. We're going to cut our yarn again. So pull the yellow back through all of the 5 loops, tie your tails, and we're gonna single crochet 5 to the end. There's 3, actually 6, sorry. 4, 5, and 6. So again, this may be different for you if you had to adjust, and this is how yours should look. And again, if they are not centered, then you may have to do like an extra single crochet on this side to get you to the middle, or it might be the opposite. You might have to drop one, but yeah, they should be right below your eyes. Okay, now at this point, you can go ahead and get some of your stuffing. And I like to place him on his head when I'm stuffing, because that just helps. If you end up having like a little cone head, it will help flatten that out. I'm just stuffing that in there. And I'm not gonna stuff all the way yet. I like to actually wait until my hole is smaller. For the final row, we're gonna be decreasing around. I recommend using the invisible decrease method. If you don't know how to do that, I will show you. But we're going to be decreasing around for a total of 8 stitches. So if you don't know how to invisible decrease, you're just going to be grabbing the front loops of the next stitch, just that little front loop, and then the front loop of the next stitch. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through both of those. So you should have 2 loops on your hook, and yarn over, pull through 2. And I'm just going to be repeating that all the way around to decrease. Okay, so I've reached my last decrease, and I'm going to take just a little bit more of my stuffing, and I'm gonna finish stuffing him. So you don't need a whole lot just because he's so small, but I like to make sure that there is a good amount. But you don't want to overstuff him. So I feel like that's pretty good right there. Just kind of feel around, see if there's any spots where he needs more. But I think that is perfect. So now what I like to do is, at this point you could go ahead and fasten off. Sometimes when you're at like 8 single crochet left, then you might end up having a little hole left after you sew through all of the front loops. But I find this way it just makes sure that the hole gets completely closed. So I think I did about 2 extra decrease there. And now I'm just gonna leave myself like a medium-sized tail. I'm just going to cut that. So I'm fastening off. I did a slip stitch to end, and I'm pulling my yarn through and pulling it to secure. Now you're gonna take your yarn needle. We're just gonna thread the yarn in there, and you're just gonna go through the front loops of every single stitch around. So for me, that's about 6. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Gently pull your yarn to close. I'm just going to kind of go back through there and out to another stitch. And what I like to do to just make sure that it's secure even further is I'm just going to grab maybe like stitch wide like that, and then leave a little loop for you to go through to make a knot, and then you can go ahead and weave in your ends. I just feel like doing this just makes sure that it's even more secure, because sometimes I get paranoid about like the bottom coming open. Yeah, and then I'm weaving that 3 times. Maybe a little unnecessary, but again, I just want to make sure that this is secure as possible and it is not going to come undone. So I'm snipping that off, making sure that my yarn is completely woven in. So yeah, this is what he looks like after we're all done sewing in our ends. And what I like to do is take your yarn needle and take the end, the flat part right here, and I like to use that to just pop out the bobble stitches if you need to. That kind of just gives it that little extra, makes them look perfect. Now the last thing we have to do is sew his little beak. So I'm cutting like a medium-ish size piece of my orange yarn. So you're just gonna thread this onto your needle. I'm just gonna go into a random stitch kind of above the eyes here. So you're gonna bring your needle into the stitch and then bring it out right next to one of the eyes, directly in between. So I'm going to pull that yarn through, making sure that you leave a little tail on the end. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to go directly into the other side, and that'll end up being about a stitch to 2 stitches wide. I'm just going to bring it back through to the other side. And then you're just going to repeat this as many times as you want until your beak is the desired shape and size. So for me, I usually like to do about 2 to 3. I think I'm going to do one more. So I'm going to go into that other stitch, and then you're going to bring it out in the same stitch as your beginning tail, just like that. And now you can cut your yarn. Now you're going to take those 2 yarn tails and just tie them together like we did before. Now what I like to do is I like to take a smaller hook. This is a 3mm, and I'm just going to insert this a couple stitches away from that and bring it up through that same stitch. And then I'm just going to kind of grab these tails here and just pull it through the body. And then if you need to, just take that flat part of your needle and push the rest of it in. And then if you need to, you can just take your needle and kind of pop out those little stitches on the beak just to make sure that it looks perfect and how you want it. And yeah, he is all done now. Oh my goodness, he turned out so cute and so tiny. Oh my goodness. Of course, the last thing you need to do is just take your Easter egg and put him in there. Oh my gosh, he is so cute, and it just fits like absolutely perfectly. I am obsessed. Yeah, thank you so much. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you have any questions, if you have any feedback for me, I would love to hear it. Again, my Instagram is @tinkeringcrochet. I'll probably leave it down in the description somewhere if you want to go check me out. I would also love to see your little ducks or chicks if you make them. Please tag me on Instagram. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Bye!